Gaming is culture.
You fucking whiny whore.
Gaming.
Alright, we'll see how this goes. I'm not watching 36 minutes of PlayStation bed.
Last month, Sony announced that physical PlayStation games like these are now an endangered species. Starting in 2028, these things are...
How are these endangered species? Only this stack is, but even then they're not, because they've already been printed, so therefore they can continue to be printed even after the first of the 2028?
Are never going to be made again. And as a video game store owner, I find that pretty scary. So I put out a video last month talking about my concerns for the future of physical media, and it blew up. It is now the most viewed video on my channel, and I've got to say, I have never seen more conflicting opinions and bad takes than in that comment section. There are some folks saying Sony's going to reverse this decision. Other people calling to boycott Sony. There are people saying that video game stores like this one are going to thrive, being the only places that sell this kind of physical media, and other people saying that we're doomed because everybody's going to start pirating stuff. So today, I'm going to show you guys some of these conflicting opinions that are happening out there and give my thoughts as someone whose livelihood is dependent upon the success of this physical media. I'm also going to be asking my team for their thoughts because they've all got skin in the game and have a deep understanding of these markets. I may not be all that smart, but the QuickFlips team sold $5 million of physical video games last year, so they know a thing or two about the media business. And because this is a QuickFlips business vlog, we'll also be sharing some updates about the state of our personal business, and I even went yard sailing for the first time in like 2
It won't really affect his business at all. If he's smart, he'll start stashing away rare games and just putting them in basically a vault for the next 10, 15 years. And then slowly drip feeding the stock back into the market.
2 years, and spoiler alert, I scored. Now, the first bad take that I wanted to address is that any day now, Sony is going to walk this decision back because they had no idea how big the backlash was going to be. I think this take is laughable for a couple of reasons, but let me show you why.
Yeah, it's not
In order to
happening.
really understand why Sony does what it does, you have to understand their bottom line. Because they are not run by a bunch of idealistic collectors and gamers like you and me. They're a publicly traded company run by a bunch of corporate suits. Check this out. Don't look at the bottom yet. Spoilers. Sorry, this isn't prettier. This is the business model when Sony sells physical games. You can see there are a lot of different people that are taking a chunk out of this pie, or, as I drew it, this disc. You got the manufacturer, right, taking a big chunk because games cost money to make. You got the distributor, when they're working with distributors, that get the product to various retailers. If they're working with like Best Buy and Walmart, they might get to skip this step. There's the retailer that also is going to be making their cut, and then there's of course the publisher that makes the games when it's not Sony themselves. But when Sony sells a digital game,
He's got the ratios mixed up on that.
the equation changes entirely. Look at this. See this graph? Yeah, they still have to play.
Yeah, no, you have this backwards. No, Sony gets 100% when they sell their own games digital. And then they get 30% when they sell somebody else's games.
They still have to pay the publisher, but the rest of this money, Sony just gets to keep. There's no manufacturing costs with digital. There's no retail cut.
Yeah, that chart is woefully incorrect.
With digital, there's no distributors with digital. It's all money in Sony's pocket. And when the corporate executives that are actually making decisions at Sony see all of this blue, they get so excited they have to change their drawers. But here's where things really get insane for Sony. When they're able to cut out the retailer from this equation, they gain a new ability, which is full pricing power. You know how oftentimes when you go to Walmart, not every game is going to be 60 bucks. There might be games that have been sitting for a while that are 50 or 40, or it's on the clearance rack for 25. That's because the retailer has pricing power, and if they want to take a smaller cut and decrease the overall market value of that game, they can do that. But when Sony is the only one selling a given game, not only do they get a much larger slice of the pie, they get to control how big the pie actually is, because they can just decide, hey, actually, that new Ratchet & Clank game, it's never going to be $35 at Walmart. It will always be $69.99. And folks, the suits, the actual decision makers at Sony see this CD getting larger and they start to drool in a way that makes me feel icky. So as much as I love the idea that maybe Sony didn't anticipate the backlash and they could walk this back any day, I think ultimately it's wishful thinking and it misunderstands the fundamental motivations of a company like Sony. But let's go see what China thinks. All right, batch of the week time. Here we go.
Oh, this is from, oh my God, I can hear it already. Emmanuel.
China, for anyone who doesn't know, is our intake manager. We have a buyback website called myquickflips.com that makes it easy for anyone to get fair, fast cash for their video games, and China is in charge of every game that comes in here and where it goes. Also managed a few video game stores back in the day, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yes.
So when people like David Garcia 8782 says, boycott Sony, give them nothing, and 700 people like it, what are your thoughts? Do you think that would work?
Probably not, just because it's Sony. I mean, they do something that completely is out of the ordinary from what everybody's doing. Like, everybody boycotts it. Remember with the Apple Pencil and the AirPods and Apple removing headphone jacks? Like
People boycotted those?
Oh, people were like, oh, don't buy iPhones. It's gonna.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want in-phone jacks? Or like they were making fun of AirPods, how you could lose them, and then boom, now everybody wants AirPods.
Now
and
here we
whatnot.
are.
And so I mean, it's gonna be something that sucks because we're so used to physical media.
Or when they got rid of the USB ports on the MacBooks. That's the other one too.
Like all the way from discs to Blu-rays and now 4K discs. But I won't boycott it. I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm just like, okay.
I distracted you from the batch here.
Well, I was gonna hold it because I opened it and what the heck?
Oh, no way. Okay, I had no idea what was in there.
I didn't either.
It's
That's why it's the
uncommon that
batch
we
of the
see
week.
this many cartridges. Okay, hold up.
Yeah, 36 items in here, and they are all Super Nintendo games.
Whoa. Speaking of earbuds, holy cow.
What is this? I know, right? See, everybody wants to be something. So look at that. Oh my
Someone's
gosh.
entire Super Nintendo collection got sent in.
Look, oh, Super Metroid. Oh my.
Nice.
Okay, so there are some bangers in here. Look at that Kirby. Wait, these are actually I have never seen
Gee, why would somebody be selling their physical media, dude?
so many Super Nintendo sent in one package before.
Thought we need to preserve physical.
This is really, I'm glad I picked
I
this
mean,
one.
yeah, me too. When you shook it, I was like, this sounds like there's only like NES, like a couple NES games, but
So you were saying
wow.
something interesting also about like the values of PS3 games specifically.
Yes.
Because they announced the closure of the eShop in addition to like no more physical discs.
Right.
And you were saying some games have shot up
Yeah, so like I pulled it up actually right here. If you guys recognize Puppeteer, it used to be like about a $70-ish game
for a long time. And
Exactly.
that line's flat.
And so the last mark price was at June 2020.
I just can't believe people want to pay that much for a mid-ass game like the fucking Puppeteer.
26. So that was like last month.
Wow.
And then now it's
That shit's crazy, man.
at in August at an all-time high at 210. And this is just one of them. And you can see here these are multiple sold listings going.
It's like the same phenomena with a lot of retro games, though, like from the NES and SNES era. It's like some of the worst, most unmemorable, nobody actually fucking cared about games of that generation are the most expensive because nobody fucking wanted it in the first place. So very few copies ever got produced because nobody was buying them.
For that price. So I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of games
it's
right
not a fluke.
now. I mean, this is the trend that it's going, and it hasn't even started yet. The whole digital thing is going to start in 2028. Can you imagine like PS1 games, PS2 games? It just I feel like if
Interesting.
anything, this is like our next COVID. That sounds so bad, but like
Yeah,
this
you
is
think
next.
that ultimately it could cause a lot more things to jump in value.
Exactly, and especially that PlayStation is like. It's in like almost everyone's household, kind of like Nintendo, and a lot of people grew up with PlayStation. I feel like this is like the second arc of like the renewal of retro video games. And I can't wait to see what it's going to do for the business, but at the same time, I'm
Yeah.
sad for collectors because now they're just going to.
A little more optimism. I like it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm excited to see what happens because I mean, again, you should if you guys have your PS3 games, you should see how much they're going for right now because it's absolutely nuts
Yeah,
what is happening.
Dude, $200 is not even remotely close to being the most expensive NES or SNES game. It's not what I'm talking about.
And I think a lot of people will see that and assume, oh man, it's harvest time for quick flips. This is incredible. But the reality for us is because we're flipping things quick, we don't sit on stuff. So it's
Yeah.
not like we've got
$200 for a, popular SNES or Super Nintendo game or whatever the fuck, NES game is very normal. I'm talking about like the $1,000+ games that are like utter dog shit that nobody fucking bought, so therefore they're super low print that nobody wanted back in the day, but because they're rare, now everybody wants it. That is the perfect summation of the Puppeteer. Nobody fucking wanted that shit when it released, so therefore it's extremely rare, so now everybody wants it.
500 PS3 games that have been sitting for the last 2 months that have somehow appreciated in value.
Right.
If it's now worth $200, we're probably paying 50% or whatever of that number now.
Right.
We're not going to have a ton of Puppeteer copies sitting around that we bought low and now can sell high.
Yeah.
Like we're pretty much selling at around the same margins regardless of market percent.
That Ninja Turtles like 4 in time, like
classic. That's my favorite. Super Nintendo
I
game.
have never seen so many games. I mean, there's just random ones in here. There's no boot, like what's it called, shovelware. It's all. Oh, I mean, I lied. There's Super Skull 6, but
But it's mostly good stuff.
right. I'm more curious what's in here. Did he give us free headphones?
Pokemon Ruby.
Emmanuel knows what's up.
What a surprise.
I love it. He has it in here. So
This is incredible.
I know. I think this is his collection because like there's not doubles. Like you got
Yeah.
Kubert, you got Goats and Ghouls, Claymates there. I mean Donkey Kong. So I mean I think this was his like stuff. But I mean that's super sick.
That's
I'm glad
awesome.
I'm glad.
Emmanuel will get you paid soon. Appreciate it. All right, folks, we're back in the yard sale grind, Phoenix resale mode. Feeling really good. Ignore the sweat, please. I am in shape. But some of the fun of all things Pokemon cards at one of these yard sales. Actually, I'll back up. Let's tease it. First huge come up. Pepper shaker, $1, needed one. Second big come up. Look at this. Sopranos in the box. Don't worry about my son, he's fine on this hill. In the box, sealed. Marked at 55. I paid 50. Swindled the lady on Amazon. Used condition, 118 after fees. The Sopranos complete
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably pretty expensive.
series. Who would have known? I thought that I was hunting for furniture and like house knickknacks today. Fish is gonna swim. What can I say? Then come across this thing out on the table. Not even open, mind you. Poor marketing on the part of those 8-year-old girls. I was like, hey, there's some Pokemon cards in there. Start flipping through. I'm losing hope a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's Pokemon Go. It's the Halloween set that I know isn't worth anything. But then I'm seeing some interesting stuff. Like, this is a holo, at least, from the 25th anniversary. I'm like, there's some old stuff in here. There's like a warped Mr. Fuji. Oh, some of these are double layered. Hold up. But they just, okay, yeah, they're just duplicates. Never mind. But like, there's some sort of mid-era stuff.
Never buy cards in these 3-ring binders. Almost every single one of these cards will have binder ring damage.
Stuff like 2015. Nothing crazy, mind you. Until, like, a little bit of vintage, so that's cool. But then what do I spy? But these bad boys up here. I ask, what's the price, by the way? 25 cents a card. Pretty good. Look at this. There's a, what is this, an art rare? Or no, it's a trainer gallery card.
Yeah, that's like $6.
Little flappy, little gold up there. Some vintage. This thing's not worth anything. Monkey Dory, which is some sort of a illustration rare,
Probably like
I
$1.
think. And then the craziest one, Kingra EX, which I've seen in
That's like $80, yeah.
my own store for over $70. Here's the problem. In this binder, you guys may have seen it, there's a ton of fake cards that even a noob like me can recognize is fake. So I'm gonna have to take these things, oh, there's a Pheasantipity too. I'm gonna have to take these things into the store, get them authenticated by my team that actually is intelligent, and we'll see. I paid, so these things 25 cents a card. I paid them $5. I would have paid them more. Am I scamming some little children? It's very possible, because it all hinges on whether this thing is real. I think it was a pretty good offer if this thing's not real.
It is real. They probably bought a collection box when Shrouded Fable was sitting, and they just opened it up.
If it is real, I scammed. Forgive me. This thing, I went back to just like see if I could just pick up the rest of it, because like maybe there's also something good in here. Because I don't actually know Pokemon, I just know the low-hanging fruit. They said $30 for the rest of the binder. And my conscience was already a little bit stricken from the other thing, knowing that maybe I scammed, so I didn't even haggle. I was kind of hoping they would say 15 or 20, because the rest of this kind of looks a little bit doggy. But only time will tell, and the actual, like, this is a fake. That's a fake. And I'm nervous and excited at the same time, so we'll see what the actual experts have to say. All right, folks, so it is Monday afternoon, the first day.
Yeah, the binder was a waste of money. That Kingdra was a good buy.
Our PlayStation 4 sale. I've been talking about how I've been trying to market this thing on Facebook. 25% off is definitely one of the bigger discounts we have ever done, but set up the Facebook ad campaign. It's up. I'm boosting a couple of Instagram posts, and I don't know if the folks who are in here right now found us from that. This is not a bad level of activity for a Monday afternoon, so hopefully the longer those ads run, the more activity we're going to see, and the more people will be coming into the store specifically for that stuff. We're doing games and consoles for this sale, so Odin and Austin have already done a great job with the little boom stickers and showing off all of the consoles that we have for sale as a part of the promotion, and our game section is super stacked as well.
That's cool. With Odin. That's cool. PlayStation Edition. We're going to start off with something kind of cool and unique, and that is this double stick fight pad, Mech Warrior game, whatever you want to call it. This thing's here for you. I guess you could use it for maybe like an aviation sim or something like that too, but there's no denying that you've got 2 sticks on here and you're doing something with them. I'm not sure what, but both hands on this bad boy. Direct from Japan. It's covered in kanji. We got like this wicked cool diagram on the back, and I don't know, this might make your mech gameplay a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper. Maybe it's more immersive than just the controller itself. This guy's blue. That's interesting, right? Usually you think of PS4's being, you know, black, but this guy's from the Days of Play, and if I remember correctly, this was one in a sweepstakes, and well, the price kind of reflects that, right? This is almost double what a regular PS4 Slim would typically go for. I mean, does that sound worth it to you? I know it's kind of rare and hard to get a hold of. You couldn't buy this guy, so maybe that justifies the price point, but you know, I'm just thinking from a collector perspective. Maybe your opinion differs. Anyways, this guy is 25% off this week. I think it's cool. So I've got something kind of unique, and that is the PSP Go. So PSP.
Oh, why the fuck would you even want that?
Already a short-lived, you know, endeavor.
Terrible device.
But what I have here is
my friend had one of these. It sucks. Genuinely sucks.
Maybe even shorter-lived, and that is this guy. Like, imagine a flip phone, but it's your gaming console, and
there was a flip phone version of it. That's the worst part. The Sony Ericsson gaming phone.
You could really, like, the main goal here is to pocket it, right, and just take it wherever you want, so all the buttons are covered when it's folded like this, but you can fold it out and play on it just basically wherever you want. Now, the main caveat, the main drawback here is there's nowhere to put your disc, right? If you remember PSPs, they have a disc that you slide in the back, and that's how you play your games. This is entirely digital. Now, I know Sony's in some hot water when it comes to digital stuff right now, but this is from like nearly a decade ago. But is that really worth the holdback? A lot of people decided no, and the PSP Go was not very well received. But anyways, I still think it's cool, and it's a nice little piece of history.
Well, that's because the download speeds back then were fucking, like, just atrocious. Like, if you had to download anything over, like, a couple megabytes, you were going to be sitting there for a while. Most people still had dial-up back then.
So I told you the theme of this video is analyzing Sony's decision with physical media. As a manager of this store, what thoughts do you have?
So Man, it can really go either way, and like I understand how polarizing the effect can be.
Yeah.
But for a company that has from the outset decided that they want to produce items for customers to buy, they're just abandoning one thing for something else. It's just a different direction. It kind of sucks for everybody that they've enfranchised.
Right.
But they're going after a different audience now. It looks like.
What do you think are the implications for a store like ours? Do you agree, for example, with someone like Bible Mandela Effect, who says the title of the previous video was, "Did Sony just kill my video game store?" And to that he responds, "Nope, your business is going to be busier than ever." And 3.4 thousand people liked it.
A lot of people were already asking that question, right? With recent claims, across overseas, they're talking about like don't kill games. So like there's that angle to it too. Is like, do you own your stuff that you buy online? And now one of the biggest publishers of all time is coming out and saying, I'm only doing digital now.
Right.
So it's kind of, it's leading that question again. Is like, do I own the stuff that I buy online? Well, I know what I definitely own, and that's the stuff I physically own.
Right.
Right. So I think we'll see, just like you said, a larger turn up in people that are willing to go wholly physical, if only for the sole fact that they'll then own their stuff.
Yeah, I think there definitely will be. We'll see at least some benefit from in 2028 when you can no longer go to Walmart or Best Buy to get, if you do like physical games, can't get them there anymore. You're going to have to come somewhere like here. And so I think at least in the short term, it's likely that we will see some benefit from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things where it's like, as it becomes like a bigger thing for the more nostalgic generations, it'll continue to grow.
So that was a comment that I saw pretty consistently as people equating video games to vinyl records. I was curious why I didn't see more people equating them to, for example, CDs or cassettes. Because I, as a business owner, see those categories and I'm like, there aren't a lot of successful CD stores in Lexington anymore.
No. Well, one of my favorites actually just went under new management. CD Central, shout out. Cut Corner Records, they're the new people. But anyways, I like your point about bringing up that CD.
I don't even know why you would buy CDs unless you literally just cannot get something digital. CDs do not have superior audio quality compared to like WAV files or FLAC files or even high definition MP3 files. Like most CDs have dog shit audio quality compared to like the majority of digital distribution. So unless there's literally no way to get the music digital, CDs are like not even anything special.
These aren't being talked about as much,
right?
And that's because the generations that CDs were meant for, they haven't reached nostalgic status yet. It's the difference between vintage and retro, right?
Or is it that those generations also grew up largely with digital as well? Like as CDs were at peak, iTunes was coming out, and then Spotify, and now those people that had that alternative, they're not really nostalgic for them at all.
Yeah, I mean, I did burn like 4 CDs and like made my own mixtapes, and then I got.
Dude, it doesn't matter if CDs are WAV files because they're compressed. That's what we're talking about. Like, audio is very, very large. If you've ever recorded audio at a high bit rate, that shit gets big quick. Like, my audio files for recording, like, audio for a video are huge. Because the higher the quality of the audio, the more storage it takes up. And most CDs have piss poor fucking quality.
iPod. So and then it's kind of like, well, whatever. I think they'll see their own resurgence too. I think CDs and especially tapes will also make a comeback eventually as more people treat it as like quirky, nostalgic rather than just like purely this is my main form.
And I do think that video games are more inherently collectible than CDs because it's something you interact with in order to use it. But a little bit of food for thought.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I know that is because the second highest comment on the video was only Jimmy saying, makes me want to collect more physical games right now with 2.9 thousand likes. So I hope he's not the only one. That would be really good.
Yeah, so a standard music CD holds 700 megabytes. That is not very large.
For us. But at the same time, if it was so simple as Sony makes an announcement, demand goes through the roof, then why are we having a PS4 sale right now and we're still sitting on so many unsold PS4 games?
Well, it is Tuesday.
That could have something to do with it.
So we're like, have yet to start day 2.
We're a day in.
We are a day in. But I will say that, man, it is kind of hard to go batting for the company that is specifically antagonizing this. Right. So it's like, of course you see a bunch of people jumping the Sony ship because Sony's the one poking holes in their own boat. So naturally they're going to want to go to something that has promising.
Again, unless there's like an actual thing, like, for example, let's say you want an anime soundtrack or a video game soundtrack or something like that that's not on digital distribution. That I understand buying a CD for. But generally speaking, there's not really a reason to use CDs over digital at this point. Like, you can literally get lossless audio on Apple Music. And you can buy music on Apple. You don't just have to stream it. You can buy it outright versus, paying for a subscription.
future physical sales, like, I mean, Nintendo always kind of looks evil, but like even Nintendo kind of looks pretty hot right now, right? So it's like basically anywhere else except Sony. But we'll see. Maybe you'll see PS4 become a really big deal because like all the PS4 titles that have ever been made are already here.
Yeah,
so,
and I hope you're right. I'm pretty optimistic for the short term. I'm not as optimistic for the long term, and let me tell you guys why. Now, if I were to ask you what your guess was on how many new games that were sold last year on PS4 and PS5 were digital versus physical, what would you say is the percentage of digital games sold? Would it be 50%? Maybe 60% since digital is pretty popular? Oh no. Get this. 85%. Now, granted, that doesn't count used games, doesn't count everything that we sell or that is sold on third-party platforms in used
Yeah, well, Sony doesn't give a shit about used games.
condition, but folks, 85% of people buying new games are buying them digitally. Now, the reason that I'm optimistic in the short term is that those 15% of people that do like to
And
buy
I guarantee you his store does not stock new games. That's a very common thing with retro stores. They only do new games by pre-order only. So they don't even stock new physical games. They wait for people to trade them in so they can get them for 40 to 50% of their, resale price. Because even these game stores know stocking new games is a fucking death wish in today's market.
physical, say half of them don't end up making the jump to digital.
You just immediately lose money.
7.5% of people will need somewhere to go in 2028, and I hope that place is Quick Flip's video games. But folks, I think those of us who own video game businesses have to be honest about the fact that that percentage of people who have a high preference to play games physically is only going to dwindle in the long term. And here's how I know. I would say I pay more attention to this stuff than the average person does, and every indicator I'm seeing of trends of purchasing behavior in the next generation is that, folks, young people do not care about physical games. Okay, this is not working.
They don't. They don't even buy new games, much less physical media. Like, they don't even care about buying games in general, digital or physical. They only give a fuck about playing their Fortnite slop or whatever other live service game that's like their default go-to play with your friends, experience.
Okay, that's better. This last year, I led a group of high school guys through my church's youth group, and let me tell you, all of them except one play video games, and none of them play physical video games. Every single one just downloads it, doesn't give it a second thought. I was talking to my teenage cousin the other week, shout out to you, Seth, about Sony not making physical games anymore, and he was like, what? Not only did he not care, he hadn't even heard about it and could not be less bothered by the news.
Yup. You ask any normal person about it, they're like, I don't fucking care.
And I don't think that's just a small sample size, folks. I'm convinced that is the trend among the next generation. They don't care about collecting physical games like we do, which means that this industry is on a timer. Now, granted, I do think it's a decade
Yeah, it's been on a timer for a very long time.
long timer. And like I said, I think the next few years are likely to be good ones for owners of video game businesses like this one. And I'm not saying these long-term warnings because I think it's how it should be, but rather because I want other businesses like this one to be prepared what is likely around the corner, or not, maybe around a few decades worth of corners. And so to talk a little bit more about what we're doing to plan even for a future that is decades down the road, let's go ahead and talk to Chris, our repair manager.
This week in Repair Paradise, we're going to talk about the PlayStation. Is yours not reading games? If that's an issue for you, you can take a clean Q-tip and actually just gently clean the laser lens there. And if that doesn't work, you can use 1 drop of IPA. Do the same.
With IPA.
Isopropyl alcohol. And then if that doesn't fix your issue, I've already removed the fasteners from the PlayStation here. You can actually get directly to the laser assembly here, and it's got the motor for the spindle, and you can get your replacement. And it comes out pretty easy. Just remove this cable, that ribbon cable, pull the whole assembly out. You just need this one for the new drive. This is the power cable for the motor for the spindle. And then you can just drop this guy right back in, and just like that. Put the top back on, and that's repair. Here at Repair Paradise, we see things that most people will never see, like this nice Crystal OG Xbox, or this Sega Game Gear that has the package and all. Bam! And it's got a glass lens on it, look how clean.
Dang.
Or a complete box, Sega Saturn. It's got all the demo games and even the freebie that they gave you when you purchased the console.
Wow.
But the most rare, by far, would be the PlayStation 2 Edition George Foreman.
What is that?
Fuck.
It's a lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine, and it does work.
Wow.
I've never seen this. This is awesome.
So Paul here is one of our master modders, and he's cooked up something really special for us.
Yeah, so this is a PVM, Sony Trinitron. It stands for Production Video Monitor. These are like the Cadillac of CRTs. They use these in video production, all sorts of editing things back in the day. These are really sought after, and we found it in a pallet, which is insane.
Dang.
And going into that, we've got this modded GameCube that I worked on. Shout out to Jacob for the paint job, did all of that in shop. But what's really cool about it is that it actually doesn't even have a laser. So everything inside of it is running off of a micro SD card. You can boot all of your legally acquired ROMs and backups straight from the device, so you have as many games as you want on it, and you don't risk destroying your disks with the laser of the device. We're just booting everything within.
That picture is beautiful.
Yeah.
So Chris, the topic of today's video is the future of physical games. How does our repair department fit into kind of our game plan for the potential demise of physical media?
Well, consoles will always have issues when it comes to just port issues, power supplies, or there'll be no disk drives, but even software issues that go along with stuff. So, you know, as long as people are using them and they get dirty, they need to be internally cleaned. You need somebody that's proficient.
Right, and the older they get, the more issues they tend to have.
Yep.
So if we continue the process of continuing to buy hardware rather than just the software, the game side, we're going to need a team of people to keep that happening. And no matter how many versions of the PlayStation come out that are digital only, the one thing people will always need is the next PlayStation itself.
Absolutely.
So I think this department is it's a huge hedge against the decline of games, because even if games go down, controllers, consoles, whatever peripherals or accessories, as long as you
Yeah, there are very few games that come out nowadays that are worth replaying. So they're few and far between.
Gaming, you're going to need something to game on.
Absolutely. And I think that people, as that kind of fades away, people will actually enjoy collecting video games more. You know, I think that it could even cause an increase of people buying and selling and trading video games.
That seems to be the consensus, and I think that definitely is true, at least in the short term. I am a little bit nervous about what happens when the younger generation grows up. Are they going to have that same urge? But I guess only time will tell. I don't think physical video games are ever just going away.
Right.
But it is possible that the physical collecting side becomes more and more niche over time. Right. So folks, we are getting prepped for China's second live stream here, and we're getting very fancy because I just made this little stream deck thing here. The top ones are just the boring overlays and switching scenes, but the bottom ones are sound effects that she can now use. You want to go ahead and try them out, see if you think they're worthwhile?
Caleb also chose these. I'm super. I can already kind of tell what they are. I don't know what that one is.
That's the idea. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll do Pico first.
Pretty good, huh? So that's just like a little level up.
Okay.
Sonic ring for anything money related.
What is that?
So that one's a treasure chest. My idea for that was because it's a little longer. If you uncover like a grail, press that one as you're kind of holding it up to like kind of make it look interesting. And then there's another treasure chest there. Pretty solid, huh? The only bad thing with that one is it doesn't get louder. So we may ultimately need to increase the computer volume, but not too bad. And then this, yeah, it's hard to see.
I wish I could say I was having fun with Xenoblade Chronicles X. I don't know, bro. I really tried to like that game.
But it's Link.
I can't. I have never played Zelda, so I don't know where that's from.
That's another just like, okay, we got a cool thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, my favorite.
I really tried to like Xenoblade Chronicle X. Just couldn't do it.
Caleb, you're actually so talented.
So that one, if something bad happens, a fake game, something's broken, anything like that.
Yeah, okay. These are actually pretty decent. Who is this?
That one, there we go. That's the sad me.
Is that you? Oh my god, genius. Oh, that would be perfect. Okay, this one I'm curious about. What is this?
That's a Wii. So idea for that is just either a good thing happens or maybe you get something Wii related, which we always get.
Okay.
And then the last one is a Pokeball.
Oh, like opening probably.
Yep. Pretty solid, huh?
How wonderful.
So now you've got 10 options anytime something happens on stream.
And
boom.
Oh, look at that. And they have a little nice little fade transition.
Yeah, so you can do it again.
Oh, okay, I have to do. Oh!
Yep, so you can switch the.
Whoa!
We're rolling, folks.
Oh my gosh, this is so
Stream's about to be
high-tech.
popping. All right, folks, on this episode of Did Caleb Get Scammed? Here's the story behind this binder. This was a yard sale find. Total invested $35.
$35. Okay, so we need
So just
to
go through one by one and give me your reactions, first impressions, without looking anything up.
Okay.
What are you seeing?
Well, it's a lot of bulk right off the start, but what has me excited is there's some old stuff in there. Like I see some fossil.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, if you open a binder and the first page is entirely modern, you're like, oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah.
But like seeing some fossil off the rip. Although I do see some Halloween stamps, which immediately makes me think this is a children's binder.
This little
'cause,
Halloween binder?
Like, yeah, so this could go one of two ways.
Okay, we'll keep going.
You're really lucky with the fossil, and then the rest of this is just going to be Halloween stuff.
Okay, what about like something like this, a little hollow 25th?
I mean, yeah, but
It's worth 2 cents.
Okay. Yo,
It's worth nothing.
let's go! Oh my god, I love gold cards because they're just so fake.
Yeah.
They're just so fake.
Yeah, I
but
saw
usually
those.
they like put cool art on them. Like that's kind of sick. Like,
Okay, hear me out. If we labeled those, could we put them in the dollar binder?
I don't want to something stuff.
No, it's a
sorry.
$0 return on those guys.
This is cool. Oh, the flat fee. Okay, so like we got some trainer galleries in here.
Yep.
The Lucky Dory's cool. Okay, so like here's like finally some singles, right? And then okay.
Is that one good?
All right, yeah, $35 is a good deal.
Hold on. You got to tell me if it's real though, because I was concerned.
That, I mean, from the front, that looks really good because
Okay.
it's really hard to fake the texturing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the back looks great too. I'd be worried about because then for your reminder, I'd double check like right here. Because that's where. Although this looks like this is minty.
All right.
Yeah, I like
so I
that.
didn't get scammed. You're telling me.
No, the Kinger's nice.
Dude, I'm a Pokemon reseller now. Let's go. I'm so hyped this thing. I might have to keep this
Big ups,
because this
big
is just like a good story. So yes, we are diversifying into consoles and into controllers. You guys know we're also diversifying into the card side to keep us insulated from the specific game factors of the market that we can't necessarily control. As you can see, we have got plenty of those bad boys sitting around here at this point. But for other video game based businesses, maybe Pokemon isn't your thing, maybe consoles and controllers are too much of a headache. A couple other models that I've seen succeeding really well are one, pawn shops. Diversifying the number of product categories you sell in some way is, I think, really overpowered right now, especially with the number of people out there that are needing cash. And then the other big one that I'm seeing is multimedia stores. Think McKay's if you're in the South, think Half Price Books, think Second and Charles. There are a lot of successful chains in this department because they're able to buy product at a really low cost because people want to trade from one category that they don't care about into another category that they do. They want to trade their books for DVDs or their DVDs for Blu-rays or their Blu-rays for comics or whatever. And folks, even though I do think it's really important to acknowledge that the future will not necessarily be the same as things are today, I still believe more deeply than ever that opportunity really is everywhere. And the more this team grows, the more deeply I become convinced that whatever the future looks like, we're going to keep dominating it.
I do not care about the new Melonless Mac drama, to be completely blunt. I genuinely could not care less. All right. Oh boy.
You know,
Already.
if you're collecting for the PlayStation 3 right now, here in 2026, you absolutely seen how crazy some of these PlayStation 3 prices. It surprised me. I've been talking about this about 6 years now, and some of my audience, you guys let me know some of these prices are going crazy. But before you fall into this PlayStation 3 FOMO trap and spend crazy amount of money till you don't have to, stop. My job here is to inform you. I want to let you know I've been doing this about 6 years now, and now the time is here that these prices are going crazy. People are trying to take advantage of you, and I don't want that to happen. So in this video, we're going to talk about the PlayStation 3 FOMO and what to do, how to stay away from it, and how to get games for a great price without breaking the bank. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the main culprit, eBay. It is a crazy, crazy world on eBay, y'all. Bidding wars, just silly. Do not fall for the bidding wars on eBay. Right now, people are looking at my videos, other creative videos on PlayStation 3. This is what's happening. They're taking advantage of, one, the FOMO. Two, the PlayStation 3 store is definitely going to close for good. Number three, PlayStation's not doing any more discs 2028. I know you heard about this. This is devastating news. It's a collector, physical collector. I want my disc. And a lot of you guys out there want physical copies of game too. Hopefully they change their mind. If they don't, I'm still gonna be here to help you out. Now going back to eBay like this. I just got Killer is Dead. As you can see, this is 50 bucks. Online, a lot of these games are not there. Do not overbid on a video game. Now we did have 20 plus years to get a lot of these. We have to take a little bit of
I have that Killer is Dead sealed. Multiple copies of them.
the blame. Another thing, for instance, I just saw Heavenly Sword. I've been talking about that game for years now. All of a sudden, people are trying to pump this game up to $100, which it doesn't have to be. You can get this game anywhere. Now, let me tell you the truth. People who sell video games online, they are watching these videos. They are going to try to take advantage of you and your hard-earned dollar. They'll see a game like Heavenly Sword and put it up, and then sometimes they'll get a couple of their friends to pump up the price of the game 2 or 3, 4 times to try to keep that game at a high price, which is crazy. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for that crap. This is what you can do. Go to a local game store and see if that game's there. Hit up a pawn shop. Hit up GameStop. Hit up Facebook Marketplace online. Because I'm telling you, these games, they're not what they say right now on eBay. This is going to happen for another 6 months, I say. The prices will come down, but it will come down to a new normal. If you're seeing games, this is crazy. And my chat just told me about this. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, right? I haven't got a chance to play it yet. Heard it was a very good game, but people are trying to pump this game up over $100. They're putting sealed copies, graded copies, which I have nothing.
Bruh, you can get Castlevania 2 on PC for like, what? $2?
Nothing wrong with those. If you can wait it out, do so. If you go to another game store, do so. I said do so. If you can find one at Goodwill or a pawn shop, do so. Here's a big tip that I use to get expensive games, and I'm gonna show you guys. I did buy an expensive game in the store. This is Captain America. It was $70. As you can see right here, it's 70 bucks. Okay. I took a few things to trade and got this game knocked down 30 bucks. Now I used my trades and I did not pay the full price for this game. Will this game jump back down? It probably will. I do hear this game is very good. I didn't play it. I skipped it, so
like
this is a new game for me to play. But I used stuff in my collection that I wasn't playing, that I didn't care for, I use that to fund these expensive or popular games right now. Now remember, this time it is a seller's market, and it's going to be a seller's market for a long time, especially the big effect. PlayStation is not making discs, and a lot of people are going to do the same. You got to realize physical collectors are very, very small compared to people who like digital. It's a different world, guys, and we're in the minority, but we're a loud minority, right? And our dollar still does count.
No, the fuck it doesn't if you're buying everything pre-owned.
All right, to avoid the FOMO at retro conventions. Now this is a big one. I know a lot of you guys around the country go to different video game conventions, and you're definitely going to see eBay prices on a lot of video games. You're going to see above eBay prices. Here's a trick that a lot of people do when they resell games at a convention, right? This is Captain America, right? Or here's $70. Well, guess what? They're going to mark this for $100. Hopefully, that gives them room to negotiate. Now, how much negotiation will they take off? That's up to your skills and what you have. I have seen people, just like the game again, put this at $160 and like, oh, it's rare, or it's Mario, which everybody like to say. Hopefully, somebody will come through, won't research the price, and pay that. So what do? So what do you do to help you out? One, know the prices before you go. Know each and every price of a game. Don't be afraid to look up a game in front of the person and ask them, what can you do for this price? It's an easy, respectable negotiation tactic. Also, bundling. Bundling does really wonders. If you see 2 or 3 games that you want, ask a bundle price. But like I always say when I started this channel, trades are the key to getting what you want. Just like the short I made going to pawn shops. Went to a pawn shop and I found a lot of games that were disc only. I took those to GameStop and I didn't have to pay a huge price for a extremely rare game and a game they probably shouldn't be selling. But it worked out in my benefit, it worked out in their benefit. Trades are the key to getting what you want. Now speaking of pawn shops and places that sell video games, just ask. Ask if they have this game in stock. Don't be afraid of the price. A lot of people want to move games, especially old games like PlayStation 3 and a pawn shop or little mom and pop store. They want to move these games, so you will get lucky at some places. Now, you won't get lucky everywhere because everybody has one of these right here. They can look at the price. Here is something that people don't do, but it will save you a lot of money. Make a list. Make a list of the PlayStation 3 games that you wanted. I made a list of PlayStation 3 games that I want now. It is over 500 games physically, right? A lot more than that. But I made a list of the games I want. A lot of people want a lot of
500 games physically. Like, that's just hoarding at that point. I'm sorry, bro. Like, you're never gonna play all those
popular games, including your boy. I do. But I found a game today when I was game hunting and was thinking about this video because when I did that live and people showing me the prices of games, I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Now, I did pay full price for this. This is Family Guy on the PlayStation 3, $60. This game is steadily going up. I didn't talk about this a lot. I had it before, didn't play it, and sold it. Don't regret it, but luckily, thank God, I have the money to buy it again. I saw it. This was the only game they had in 200 miles that a store that I went to. The shortage is real. This is a popular game. So a lot of popular games, that's what's going to happen. Games like this right here, maybe the Street Fighter Cross Tech, a $20 game. I see these all the time at GameStop. I don't know where my copy was at. I guess I sold or traded, but I did buy this game and add it to the collection because I wanted it. I love fighting games. These 2 games were on my list. You can put your list in your phone, in your notes app, and once you get the games, just mark it off and you won't succumb to the FOMO. Now let's run down a list of where you can get PlayStation 3 games for cheap. Pawn shops. You still can find some on Mercari, GameStop, eBay. But with eBay, do not get in a bidding war. Just see the lowest shipping, and if you can piece one together, do that. So game conventions and Facebook Marketplace. All of those places, you can find PlayStation 3 games. You just gotta be vigilant. A lot of people are doing the same thing, and most people are trying to make some money off the game, which is not a bad thing, right? It's always been this constant struggle with people collecting and people selling, and then you have people in the middle, always gonna be there. It's not going away. Me sitting in front of the camera crying and complaining about it is not gonna help my cause. It's not gonna help you, but I hope this video can help you get games the right way. I am not here to tell you that PlayStation 3 prices aren't going up. They are. Some of these games are going to get more expensive, but my job is to inform you. When I show you games are increasing, I'm not telling you to go run to eBay and pay what everybody else is asking. Listen, don't let FOMO turn a fun hobby into a bad financial decision. So remember, check sold listings, shop around, check pawn shops, check GameStop, check retro stores, negotiate at conventions.
Video game collecting as a whole is a bad investment if you're talking monetarily. It's one of the worst performing sectors of collectibles, unless you have just primo, mint, sealed old stock. Otherwise, it is one of the worst segments to put your money into. Trading cards of every category outperform it. Toys outperform it. Gold outperforms it. The stock market outperforms it. Like, sports cards outperform it. Yeah. The only reason you would maybe want to do video games is, again, if you're going to keep like rare stuff sealed. So sealed game collecting, maybe. But yeah. Just buying shelves and shelves and shelves full of used shit is just basically a way to lose money when it all comes down to it. Because the only way you're actually going to make money selling games is if your stuff over doubles. Because when you sell a bunch of video games in bulk, you're not getting 70, 80, 90% for it. You're getting 40, 50, maybe 60. But that's about it. So your stuff has to appreciate to the point where even if you lose half the value when you go to sell it, you know, that's what you have to keep in mind. So it's a pretty brutal market, honestly. Video games are not a good store of like value at all.
Just sell your games you do not want, buy the games you do want, and know when to walk away. PlayStation 3 collection is getting hotter and hotter as we get closer to Sony killing disc forever. But that doesn't mean you still can find cheap deals the right way. See you next time.
When I say toys, I mean shit like Legos and stuff like that. Like the little Lego action figure thingies, or minifigs, whatever the fuck they're called. Minifig collectors, bro. People pay insane sums of money for that.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Ain't Dead Games, and today we're going to talk.
Holy camera zoom.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Ain't Dead Games, and today we're going to talk about a small subset of the PS3 collection that you might want to go out and collect for. And that set is known as the Blue Label Collection. Now, as we all know, Sony always has the best ideas ever, and this is actually one of them. Released between February and June of 2014, Sony decided for the third time to change the case designs on the games, changing all the labels to blue to match the PS4 and the Vita, causing nothing but confusion amongst buyers and the rise of really ugly game shelves across America. From what I can tell, there's 14 games in this collection, and I actually own 13 of them. The 14th one I've been searching for years, and it's almost impossible to find. So let's go through all the games I have in the collection today. Now, I won't go into a deep dive on all the sports games because that's pretty self-explanatory. And the first game is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Released in 2014 for just about every console available at the time,
Not an amazing
The Amazing
game.
Spider-Man 2 is an open-world story that came out alongside the 2014 film, where he plays Peter Parker as he hunts Uncle Ben's killer, navigates a brutal city gang war, and confronts villains like Electro, Green Goblin, Kraven the Hunter, and Carnage. Although the critics praised the fun, realistic web-slinging mechanics of the open-world movement, but paying the repetitive combat, uninspired story, technical glitches,
Nobody praised this game at all.
and overall lack of polish compared to modern superhero games, I say, who the hell needs critics? It's freaking Spider-Man. And I can tell you that any Spider-Man game
That's
that I've
right,
ever put into
dude, it's Spider-Man!
a console, I've had a load of fun with, including the Atari 2600 Spider-Man. And one more cool other note on this game, it's still affordable at this time, right around $25, as opposed to the other Spider-Man games on the console that are rocketing to the moon. So pick this one up if you're not afraid of fun. This next game might be a little tricky to find because it was only released in Latin America regions, but it is part of the ESRB Blue Label set. And that game is Everybody Dance 3! Released in 2013 by Sony Interactive Entertainment, Everybody Dance 3 was released exclusively for the PS3 in Latin America and select parts of Central America. This being released in 2013 predates the launch window that I previously mentioned in the video, leading me to believe that this is probably the first Blue Label game that was released. This is a rhythm and dance game. It was also the final installment for the Everybody Dance series, requiring players to use the PlayStation Move control to follow the on-screen dance choreography to pop and party hits. Now this game you probably just won't be able to walk into the store and find on the shelves, making it one of the harder Blue Label games to find. But they're out there, eBay's always your friend. And really, that's all I can say about this game, because I mean, be real, do I look like a guy that dances? Do I look like a guy that plays Everybody Dance? Do I even look like a guy that likes pop music? No, the game's totally not for me, but it could be for someone out there. But what makes me happy and allows me to sleep at night is that it's one more game checked off the Blue Label list. Now here's a game
That's right, dude, at least it's on my shelf. I hate everything about it, but thank God I own it.
it's one of my absolute favorites on the PS3, and that game is Drakengard 3! Released in 2014
Yeah, I have a ton of these.
by Square Enix exclusively for the PS3, Drakengard 3 is one bad Mama Jamba. It's a game where you follow Zero as an intoner infected by a magical parasite flower, and her dragon companion Mikal as they attempt to kill her five sister
I have a ton of copies of this.
rulers. Across branching timelines, the dark narrative reveals that the sisters are split fragments of Zero's own magical power, meant to ultimately trigger a catastrophic human extinction. This features a blend of fast-paced, ground-based hack-and-slash combat and dedicated aerial dragon-riding battles, and moves away from the rigid structures of the earlier entries of the series to offer a more fluid action role-playing experience, acting as a spiritual and mechanical bridge to the Nier series.
I bought all my copies for $20.
Wait, what?
I wonder what it's up to now with all the game price spikes. Let's see. Drakengard 3. Ah! It's up to $200 now. Hell yeah, man. Nice. That's pretty good. Yeah, that was definitely a stonk on my part, so I did well. I did very well.
Did you hear me say the Nier series? Yes, I did, because this game serves as the overarching prequel to the entire Nier timeline. While it doesn't directly tie into the events of the original Nier, it establishes the foundation, magic, and major
Yes, it does.
opposing forces that ultimately create the Nier universe. And as for replayability, this game is loaded with it, offering up 4 main endings, branches A, B, C, and D, and unlocking them is challenging as well, because in doing so, you have to progress through the game and gather all 33 weapons to trigger the final branch of D, which is the true, canonical, and highly notorious ending, and setting the stage for the events in the original Nier. If you haven't played this game yet, I highly recommend it, and jump on a copy the second you see it. This next title is a pretty cool one that also got a Vita port, and that game is Deception 4 Blood Ties. Released in 2014 on the PlayStation 3 by Tecmo, Deception 4 Blood Ties is a dark fantasy strategy puzzle game for the PlayStation 3, where players defeat enemies entirely through trap placement and environmental manipulation rather than direct combat. In this game, you follow Lagrina, the Devil's Daughter, who must collect 12 holy verses from the descendants of the saints to break her father's seal. And let's not forget about the visuals of this game, because boy, there are some beautiful shots involved in this one. Now in 2015, Deception 4 The Nightmare Princess was released physically on the PS4, but remained digitally on the PS3, which was an expanded version of the original Blood Ties. Now if you're going for the full Blue Label set, you're going to have to get this one. But just keep in mind that the expanded version is available on the PS4 as well. And here's a game that's part of a long storied franchise. You played them one, you played them all, everybody loves them, they keep making them, and that game is Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends. Released in 2014 by Koei for the PlayStation 3 and 4, and later getting a definitive edition release for the Nintendo Switch in 2018, Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends elevates the series' classic 1-on-thousands hack-and-slash gameplay by adding highly explosive mechanical depth, unique character strategies, and substantial endgame modes. The combat centers around controlling the powerful Three Kingdoms generals to wipe out massive screens of enemy soldiers and tactical enemy officers. Based on the 14th century Chinese novel, Romance of the Three Kings follows factions fighting for land and power. Now I have a love-hate relationship with all the Dynasty Warriors games. I find them to be super fun and entertaining for the first couple hours, hacking and slashing at thousands of enemies at one time, which is fantastic, and feels great, but then feels like a monotonous chore by the end of the game. No matter what iteration of the series I throw in, I always give them a try. And personally, my favorite of all the Warriors games that kept me fully engaged the whole game is actually the Hyrule Warriors games on the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. But if you haven't played a Warriors game, I highly suggest at least throwing one in and giving it a try. You might find something new that you like. Now here's a real banger of a game. This series might seem a little deceiving to people at first glance, but the gameplay of these games are usually top-notch, and that game is Lego The Hobbit. Released in 2014 by
I don't think Final Fantasy had a PS3 Blue Label release that I can think of. Because the last Final Fantasy that came out on PS3 was maybe Final Fantasy 14. I don't remember. I don't think that came out on PS3, but maybe.
Games for just about every console under
Maybe 14 did.
the sun. Lego The Hobbit blends the classic smash and build mechanics of the Lego franchise with light RPG mechanics, cooperative puzzle solving, and massive open world depiction of Middle-earth, adapting the events of the first 2 films of the Peter Jackson trilogy, where you follow Bilbo Baggins as he joins Gandalf and Thorin to reclaim the lost kingdom of Erebor. Now I don't know about you, but I absolutely love Lego games. The gameplay is highly addictive, and the amount of comedy that they put into the storylines just gets me rolling all day long. So if you love The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, or Lego, this game is for you. These next 3 titles I'm just going to quickly go over because they're sports games. The odd thing is that I said 3 titles, but there's actually only 2 games. Again, Sony has the greatest ideas of all time. And those games are MLB The Show 14, NBA 2K14 Super Fan Pack, Sports Pack Volume 1, including MLB 14 and NBA 2K14. Both released in 2014, MLB The Show and NBA 2K14, well, it's just baseball and basketball. Nothing else much to be said, other than the ridiculous way that these games were released on the PS3. Sony and their great ideas were really trying to push this game hard, I guess. So you have the standalone copy of MLB The Show 14, which you'd expect. Then you have one of the dumbest releases and ugliest releases on the PS3, a code-in-the-box standalone version of NBA 2K14, which included both the PS3 and PS4 versions. And they don't let you forget it, because it's the only game on the system that has both consoles on the spine, making it stand out on your shelf of games like a sore thumb. But no, they weren't even done with that. Then they decided to release a double pack, which contains both physical discs from both games. So if you're a sports fan in search of these games, the double pack is the way to go. But if you're an insane collector like me, you gotta get all 3 because they're all part of the Blue Label series. Now here's one that might tickle some of your fancies, and that game is Mugen Soul Z. Released in 2014 for the PlayStation 3 by NIS America, Mugen Soul Z is a tactical Japanese role-playing game developed by Compile Heart and Idea Factory, and serves as a direct sequel to the original Mugen Souls. It features a distinct anime-style aesthetic,
No, Lightning Returns was the Black Label.
turn-based open-field combat, over-the-top customization, and a staggering level cap of 9,999, giving you the ability to deal billions and billions of damage points. The story of this game kicks off immediately following the events of the first game. The self-proclaimed undisputed goddess of the universe, Cao Cao, sets out to conquer the 12 Zodiac worlds. However, the narrative shifts to a new protagonist, Sirma, a powerful goddess attempting to seal away an ancient threat that has recently reawakened. After an accidental encounter, Sirma absorbs most of Cao Cao's powers, forcing the 2 rival gods and their wacky crew to travel together across space on the G Castle ship. This is an over-the-top, flexible, turn-based tactical RPG with a lot of eye candy. So if you're into this sort of thing and you haven't run across this game, I guess you know about it now. This next game is also part of the Blue Label collection, but I'm not going to cover it here because I covered it in my last video. And that game is Murdered Soul Suspect. This next game is an absolute blast to play, but keep your eyes out for it because the price has been rising. This is probably the most expensive game on the list at the time, and that game is Rambo, the video game. Released in 2014 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360
I
by
remember
Griffin
this.
Rambo, the video game, is a first-person rail
Yeah,
shooter.
this shit is absolute dog shit, bro.
With the gameplay mimicking traditional light-gun arcade games like Time Crisis.
Absolute dog shit.
Movement automatically controlled through the environment while the player focuses entirely on aiming, shooting, and taking cover. This game features an action-packed 16 missions spanning the timelines of the first 3 films: First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, and Rambo 3. Now, if you're looking to complete the Blue Label collection, this is going to be one of the first games that you're going to want to get, because this is one of the pricier ones. So dust off that old move controller and slap it in the sharpshooter and let the bullets fly. And the last game that I physically own in the Blue Label collection is Watch Dogs. Released in 2014 for absolutely every console at the time by Ubisoft, the first Watch Dogs is a third-person open-world sandbox structure that seamlessly blends hacking, stealth, cover-based gunplay, and vehicular traversal. Set within a fictionalized version of Chicago, players control the vigilante hacker Aiden Pierce, utilizing his in-game smartphone to manipulate the city's centralized operating system known as the CTOS. Now, I've played a few of these games, and I gotta say,
Okay, so Final Fantasy XIV did not have the Blue Label. I didn't think it did. But that would be the only game that would have been released in the Final Fantasy franchise that would have had it. So, yeah.
there's something in it for everyone. They definitely have their moments with the varying gameplay. For instance, I love the hacking mechanic and figuring out what I can hack and what I can't. And the gunplay is phenomenal as well. But personally, I'm not a big fan of stealth games, so that part kind of lacks for me. But you might love it, because you probably love stealth games. So if for some reason this game hasn't entered your collection, it's pretty easy to get. The last game on the list has eluded me for years, and I can actually only find pictures of it online. And that's the God of War collection, which includes God of War 1 and 2. From my understanding, this was only released in the Latin American countries, but does have an ESRB. But what makes this game a little different is that it actually came in a cardboard sleeve, leading me to believe that this was only available as a packing game for a console bundle that was released in the Latin American countries somewhere around 2014. And that's it. Those are all the games that I know of that are part of the Blue Label set for the PS3. It's a fun subset to collect for with some really good titles in there, and a lot of them aren't too hard to find. Once again, I'm Sean from Ain't Dead Games, and you can also catch me every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time over on the PlayStation Ain't Dead channel for the podcast. Rock on!
Why the nose ring, bro? I'm surprised he said that Drakengard wasn't one of the more expensive ones. It's been consistently one of the most expensive PS3 games.
I'm on the Reddit for like video game collection.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
to show how many video games you have.
And there's people that like just have rooms. They're like my collection room.
It's so fucking gay. Dude.
It's really awesome.
It is gay.
Really sad, dude.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they aspired to. They were in like 1993.
No, you know what? It's not even. Yeah, that's sad. What's even sadder is there's a guy being like, "Damn."
Yeah.
And he has like half of that many games. You know what I mean? Like, there's a guy who's not even that guy who wishes he was.
Yeah. No, because I was looking at old. I don't know. Sometimes I read about connectors and video signals or whatever. I forget where it started. I think I started like reading about like console televisions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those?
Like the big tube ass motherfuckers?
Well,
yes.
The
ones
with
a VCR in them?
No, the ones that like look like a fucking like a credenza.
Oh, like a piece of furniture. Yeah.
They like got their wood box.
Yeah,
fake
from like the
drawers on it.
60s. Yes, I fucked with those.
Yeah, my grandpa had one, and it's like you just accept things, but then you get older and you're like, what the fuck was that shit?
I know.
It's like, well, yeah, it's also a table or something.
Yeah, it was just furniture, dude.
Yeah, those, and then I started looking at like Sony CRT reference monitors. And apparently, the video game community, the retro gaming collection community, they buy these like Sony like reference monitors that accept like an RGB signal because it makes. I mean, there's no way
the quality is better.
Zero chance it makes it better.
Yeah,
there's fucking no chance in the world.
Yes.
It look better than just using whatever cable.
100%.
Super Nintendo.
I agree with that.
And then there's these guys that spend like $1,200 on shitty, outdated technology that like doesn't make sense to use at all. And then the monitors themselves are like fucking 14 to 20 inches.
Yeah, tiny. What?
Yeah, it looks awful.
Like a kitchen TV.
Yeah, but then the boxes are huge because they're made for like network news rooms and shit.
Oh
so
shit!
You can monitor recordings and make sure that they're like color accurate.
What?
Yeah.
Damn,
and
that sucks.
I saw a thread on Reddit where somebody's like, I just picked this up for $900. And then one guy's like, yeah, that's really stupid. This is all just junk. You're just collecting garbage and selling garbage to each other. And all these replies are like, you're in the wrong subreddit.
It is just garbage. Like, this is literal e-waste that, nostalgia has convinced people is, somehow, like, super fucking, valuable and offers this, incomparable experience. Like, bro, in reality, the difference between a fucking CRT TV and like a low fucking millisecond response time monitor is minuscule.
He's getting all defensive about just blowing their parents' money on news TVs.
I cannot believe there's a market. Like, wouldn't they be able to just find that in the trash?
I guess it's probably an application for like smaller, like probably do need color accurate monitors for video applications if you're doing something with that. But no, it's probably entirely propped up by one retard on like these retro gaming forums like 10 years ago. Is probably like, well, look what I did. And then the rest of them are like, yep, that'll legitimize.
Hold on, let's just see it real quick. CRT versus OLED retro gaming. Let's see if there's actually an actual difference.
So I recently just bought a 16 by 9 CRT, and we're going to see how the PS only supports component quality mode. It kind of feels flat. The colors are extremely vibrant. This is not ill. Okay, so now we have the OLED, and honestly,
that looks so much better.
A game like Resident Evil just looks 10 times better on the OLED.
So, tell me which one you prefer better. I personally prefer the OLED over the CRT.
Come on, bro. People will tell you with a fucking straight face, no, bro, the bottom looks so much better. No, it does not. No, it does not. Dude, you would be very surprised how many people. Also, Resident Evil is an old game. Resident Evil 4 came out when CRTs were the standard. So, you know, GameCube was a fucking CRT console. Let's see. I wanted more side-by-side comparisons.
Funny that you mentioned CRT TVs, because just like OLEDs, they also only lit up the pixels that were being used. That's why CRTs could pull off perfect blacks and no glowing around the bright spots. The real challenge and why it took so long to catch up to CRTs was because TVs were getting progressively thinner, and fitting that technology.
I don't care about your fucking... Why can't we just get a, like, side-by-side? Does nobody have, like, a CRT versus OLED? Like, just video next to each other? Why? I feel like this would be, like, you know, something that would be made on YouTube, but I guess not. Comparison, let's just see. Which do you prefer? LCD? Okay, well, that's not OLED, but... Whatever, we'll just take a look. Bruh. Come on, bro. This looks way better on the bottom. Dude, it's a LARP. It's a fucking LARP, bro. That's such a LARP, dude. That's such a fucking LARP. CRT still looks better. That's right, dude. I love the fact that it looks like I'm staring at it through a fucking screen porch door. Oh my god, man. That is such a LARP. Yeah. LARP.
Is a CRT monitor better than an OLED monitor? If you don't know what a CRT monitor is, it is what you use to watch cartoon in your grandma's house. Even though the colors...
I watched a cartoon in my grandma's house.
And the blacks are better on an OLED monitor. Things like motion blur are non-existent on a CRT monitor for being a 70-year-old machine. A CRT monitor does come up to 120 to 140 Hz and 1600p quality, which both are great, but what makes it unique is its nostalgic factor. Everything looks so real and good. Are you choosing a CRT or an OLED? Comment down below. Is a CRT?
I do not know, sir. Please show me the difference. There's like no comparison of this. It's interesting, you would think. Modern games look unbelievable on CRT monitors.
Modern games look unbelievable on CRT monitors. So much so that I choose this over this nearly every time I play.
Well, yeah, playing on a monitor is objectively better than playing on a TV.
Which sounds completely insane because this is a 20-year-old display. So am I crazy? Well, I might be a little crazy, but that's only a small part of it. There's something strange that happens when modern games are run on CRT monitors. The motion feels as clear as real life. The lighting feels natural and real, and the image almost feels alive. Not retro, not nostalgic, but unbelievably real. Take a look at Avatar, the game. When I play this on my CRT, it almost feels like I'm exploring Pandora through a camera lens. The motion is so clear, the image is so natural, that it stops feeling like a screen. And when I look,
dude, it looks blurry.
Back at footage later, it almost feels like a memory. Like I've
What? It feels like a memory.
Actually been there to Pandora. But that's just not a feeling I get with my
And I fucked that blue monkey until it couldn't walk no more.
OLED. Which is confusing because on paper, the OLED should destroy the CRT.
It does.
Better contrast, higher resolution, perfect blacks. And yet,
is there such a thing?
This old monitor just keeps pulling me back. About 5 years ago, I stumbled upon a Digital Foundry video about CRT monitors. For some reason, it just clicked with me. I had to find one. Eventually, I found one on eBay and drove 4 hours one way to pick it up. When I brought this thing home, that's when the obsession started. Over the next few years, I ended up getting a few different CRT monitors. And despite upgrading my gaming setup and buying the LG C1 OLED, I just keep coming back to my CRT. At first, I thought maybe it was nostalgia. Maybe I just like the look of older displays. But then I started playing modern games on them, and something strange happens. They didn't look old. They looked unbelievably real, incredible, like I'm looking through a window. One of the reasons is motion. CRTs have no motion blur at 60 Hz. It's the same motion smoothness that you see in real life with your own eyes. The reason this happens is CRTs draw pixel by pixel, line by line. There isn't a persistent frame like there is on LCDs and OLED. This prevents motion blur. The result is the motion stays perfectly sharp. The resolution is the same when you're still as when you're moving. Modern displays still can't do this without certain tricks like...
Alright, well, we don't need a breakdown. I was hoping there'd be like an actual side-by-side comparison. Let's see, SNES. Maybe somebody... That's what I was hoping for. Let's see, LCD. Let's see what this is. Like, look how much crisper that looks, dude. There's like a blur to the CRT. Like, that looks blurry on the bottom, dude. The top one looks far superior. Yeah, exactly. It looks like you took your glasses off. Yup. Precisely. Here. Okay, well, that was a big fat nothing. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't buy this shit. Sharp look versus CRT look. Let's see. I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm surprised there's not more comparisons. So, all right, here we go. OLED TV versus Dell 17 CRT. But I was looking more so for retro games, but I guess they just don't exist.
So I was just playing Zelda Breath of the Wild on this Dell 17-inch CRT monitor, and it's just a shadow mask. I shouldn't say just a shadow mask, it's pretty amazing, but yeah, it's a shadow mask monitor, CRT monitor, and then over here, let me change.
Yeah, this just has a blue tint to it. That's why the wood is now green.
This, there you go. Yeah, I just changed the camera setting so you don't see the lines on the CRT. But then over here we have an OLED. So this is a Sony 880J. Well, I guess technically it's an 80CJ because I bought it at Costco, but it's the same thing. But yeah, so OLED and then a CRT TV.
I'm not buying a CRT.
I've kind of been playing around with them, and like I've changed the brightness settings on both of them. I have this one set to 70% on brightness. The default's 50, but that was just too dark. And then this is just has the auto brightness on, so then adjusts to the level of the room. And I will say the OLED can definitely get brighter, I think, kind of. It's kind of debatable.
It definitely has more accurate colors. I guarantee the wood was not supposed to be green.
But the thing that I'm noticing, though, on this CRT is that the colors just pop out so much more.
Because it's not the actual color. There's like a blue filter over it.
Going into this test, I was afraid that
like, bro, the wood is green. Wood is not green like that. It's supposed to be brown.
I was kind of afraid to do it because I was thinking
bro.
it would ruin CRTs for me, comparing it to a 2021 OLED. But no, I'm really impressed. Like, you can even see like on this text. That's kind of blurry. It's like talking to this guy. Let's see if I can focus on there.
It's like that one fucking filter on Instagram that makes all your video, or not videos, your images look more blue. I forget which one it's called, but it starts with a C. But yeah, it's like just basically that.
Is my gay ass hobby.
What are they even playing? Like fucking Atari?
Yeah, they're playing like fucking Super Mario World.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, like regular
That fucking
Nintendo.
sucks.
It's really stupid.
Oh my god.
Especially because I just played. They put like all a bunch of Super Nintendo games on Switch. I just replayed Super Metroid, and I guarantee you're not having a better experience.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's so easy. You do it on a whim. You just download the shit. You
Yeah.
play for like 8 hours. You're done with it.
It's great. I love it. It's a great game. I don't need a fucking network news television from 1997.
Oh my god.
That's really sad, man.
Imagine how little pussy those guys get.
I mean, this is the average normie stance on this type of shit. This will become e-waste in 20 to 30 years.
Yeah,
just negative amounts of pussy.
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah,
sucks.
probably never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have sex.
They never even haunt a tit.
Oh my god, that fucking sucks, dude. Like being a 38-year-old man who's nervous to talk to a woman.
Yeah. There was a guy like that who would do open mics in DC, this guy that was like fat and bald and ugly. It was like it wasn't even like if he lost the weight, he would still be like a zero.
right.
Like an absolute.
There's no path.
There's
no path to pussy.
There's no way. Yeah, and he would just constantly get fired from jobs for sleeping. And he lived with his parents, and he was like 42 and just like never even got a taste.
Oh,
never once.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, they were like, people were like, why? I remember asking like, why doesn't he just buy a prostitute? And they were like, I don't know. You get to that point, and it's like you just give up on it, and it's like, fuck.
That's brutal.
Damn.
Oh, he just like doesn't even get horny.
Yeah, he had a stroke, I think, and then it got even worse.
Damn, his dick got even softer.
Yeah, his life got worse. He like lost function and.
Brutal, so he never had sex.
Never.
Oh fuck, dude. Damn. I gotta say, it is cool to have sex.
Yeah. I wish I never had sex.
You can stop.
I'm never gonna stop, bro.
Yeah.
I love this shit, dude. I'm literally obsessed with pussy, and it's exhausting.
Nice, man.
What do people say that online? They're like, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
In the NES bathroom. I'm sorry, like, I don't know, dude. I'm whatever, have your collection, but like these people who make their entire like themed rooms, and I don't know. I don't know, bro. You know, I have my 2 fucking card frames up on the wall, and that's it. That is the extent of my, you know, display of my hobby. Everything else lives in a box, put away, neatly stored. Like, hold on, wait a second. Let's see here. If I can find it, I'll pull it up. Is it not on here? Maybe it's not. I thought it was on here. Yeah, I guess I don't have it. Brutal, man. I had a picture of my frame when it still had all the good shit in it before I sent it off to PSA. And I was going to pull that up, but I don't see it. It's lost media, bro. Oof. Huh. I thought I had it. Guess not. Oh well. Heckin lost media? Yep, it is gone. Forever. I was gonna show off my wall of virginity, but I don't have it. It'd be gone. See, yeah, right, real. Hold on. Is that right? Oh, wait. Yeah, right, get real. With the, what, 70 or so joules? Big ups, bro. No, I can't recreate that wall of virginity because all the cards are in the PSA vault. So, all the cards are gone in the PSA vault. So, I can't recreate it. I don't physically have them anymore.
Gentlemen, welcome back, and sorry for the long absence. I've been pretty busy doing a lot of other things in my life, and there hadn't really been much to talk about. There's been some things to talk about. And as a matter of fact, earlier today when I woke up, there was some news about the achievement system with Nintendo and how you can actually get real physical Donkey Kong cards from that Donkey Kong challenge. And I think that's pretty damn cool, but you have to beat every single challenge, and it's about 39 or so challenges, so I'm going to have to finish all that up because I had not completed it fully yet. I'm going to have to do that, and I can't wait because Donkey Kong is my favorite video game character of all time. He's always been my favorite. I used to love playing as him in Super Smash Bros. Yeah, Donkey Kong's always been my favorite, and so I'm gonna have to get those damn cards. I'm gonna feel like a complete failure to Donkey Kong if I don't end up winning those cards. But anyways, besides that, there's just one comment I kind of want to respond to, and it's usually I get these comments very often, and to me they're so stupid. They're pretentious. That's what they are. They're just these pretentious idiots that act like they think they're so mature and morally superior to you because they don't engage in console wars. Yeah, those kinds of people. So I get this comment or whatever on my last post that I did, where I'm basically laughing at PlayStation fangirls and people in general who seem to be very butthurt and upset that a lot of people are actually buying a Nintendo Switch 2 because of the fact that they're giving up on PlayStation. So, that's been a big thing lately, and if you don't believe me, you can go check out my most watched video.
You should have given up on PlayStation a long time ago, though.
Which has about 14,000 views. It's pretty wild how many views that video got. But it's about, it's called PlayStation fans are buying a Nintendo Switch 2. And I was talking about how, I'm seeing comments on my videos and videos of other big YouTubers of PlayStation fans talking about how, they just went out and bought a Nintendo Switch 2, sold their PlayStation 5, they're having so much fun. And of course, I upload that video talking about what I'm seeing, and then next thing you know, it becomes my most watched video. And I get hundreds and hundreds of comments. I think I got over 600 comments, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just basically people saying, yeah, same here, man. I literally sold my PlayStation 5 just yesterday and got a Nintendo Switch 2. So, of course, I've noticed more and more people recently leaving those kinds of comments, and I see these butthurt losers getting angry and saying, wow, the fact that you think Nintendo's any better is pathetic. They're literally going to do the same thing. They're literally going to get rid of physical media as well. And just a bunch of cope, just a bunch of cope, but it's just so funny how butthurt they are. And every single comment, any comment that's positive towards Nintendo saying, oh, wow, I'm really starting to like Nintendo now. Nintendo are the good guys now. You're going to see these responses. You're going to see these replies from these butthurt people. And so it should be obvious that the vast majority of them are PlayStation fangirls. And this post that I had made, it was basically a poll, but I was basically saying what I noticed, and I asked people in the poll saying, who are these people that are bitching and complaining about the fact that people are switching over to Nintendo? Is it, your typical gay station fangirls? Is it your PC dorks that are at it again? Is it both? And it's kind of like half and half for people voting on gay station fangirls being butthurt and both PC dorks and PlayStation fangirls. And it's definitely a possibility that it's both of them, but I think it's obvious that it's a bunch of PlayStation fangirls that are angry and upset. Well, anyways, that leads me to making this video because I just saw a comment just a moment ago, which I replied to, but some guy saying, man, seeing console wars in 2026 is depressing. So depressing. I defended the Nintendo Switch 2 when people just kept lying about it and attacking it, whatever, but then I come to this channel and I see you basically attacking those PlayStation fans, and I just can't believe it. I was like, dude, please shut up, all right? Cool that you defended Nintendo. That's cool that you defended the Switch 2 or whatever, but get off your damn high horse, all right? Get off your moral high ground. You're an idiot. You're pretentious. Shut up, all right? People like you are so stupid. Like, y'all think you're so great because, you don't participate in, like, you're not tribal or whatever. Like, he was trying to say, I can't believe this kind of tribalism exists. Like, it exists everywhere. Have you not fucking seen, like, welcome to planet Earth, okay? You're gonna sit here and be like, I can't believe this is happening in 2026. It's been happening every freaking year. What makes you think that we're supposed to be seeing less of it as time goes on? I can't stand these people who always got a year drop. Like, let me drop the year. It's 2026. Oh, you said something racist. It's 2026. It's like, hey, dumbass, 10 years ago, people were saying the same dumb thing. I can't believe you said that. It's 2016. I can't believe you said that. It's 2006. Like, shut the fuck up. What the hell is this whole thing with, like, just dropping the year? Like, as if it fucking matters. Like, no. As the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun, all right? It's in our human nature to be very tribalistic, especially with things that we love, and we grew
Yeah, but I wouldn't be tribalistic over video games. It's not worth the effort.
Grew up with. So
you should be tribalistic towards things that actually fucking matter, like, you know, your ethnic group, your religious group, your family, your friends, things like that that actually matter. You know, a fucking video game corporation does not matter.
I get tired of people pretending to be above the console wars. It's even more funny when you can tell it's just a person who is butthurt because their preferred console got destroyed or is getting destroyed, like the PlayStation and Xbox. So they have to be like, I can't believe people are console warring. It's like, well, you used to do it too, but because you're the loser, you're pretending like you're above it. Shut up. You know, it's one of those things. So yeah, it's so funny how people act pretentious like this, and it's like, dude, we got people who are like Ford versus Chevy. That to me is kind of dumb, but no, that's a real thing. People saying Chevy sucks, no, Ford sucks. It's like, yeah, you have people like that. You have people saying, Ford versus Chevy. Then you got, what else? I mean, one I remember, TNA versus WWE. Or before that, it was like WCW versus the WWF. You know? Both of them are wrestling organizations. Both of them were probably pretty damn good at that time. But people were like, no, WWF sucks, WCW forever, whatever. That's just human nature, all right? What else? I mean, there's even like iPhone versus Android. What's funny about that is typically Android users don't really engage in it as much. They don't really care, but it's always the iPhone users that seem to be always acting like they're special. But, that's a thing. iPhone versus Android, that's one. Oh, Marvel versus DC Comics. Boy, you want to talk about, tribalism and all that? Yeah, freaking DC fan.
Yeah, but dude, I wouldn't use DC and Marvel fans as any sort of fucking compass for how you should conduct yourself as a grown man. Like, Marvel and DC fans are like the epitome of what you should not do as a grown adult.
Fanboys, I mean, they seem to be the most pathetic, but yeah, you got DC fanboys always crying about Marvel, and vice versa. You got Marvel fanboys talking shit about DC, Me personally, I side with Marvel, except, I do hate the MCU, but that's...
Or One Piece fans that, talk shit about any anime that actually has decent writing.
Completely besides the point. But that's a big one. I don't hear anybody talking about that. I never hear anyone complaining, like, I can't believe you still got, comic book fanboys and tribalism, like, nobody talks about the comic book wars. We talk about the console wars, but not the comic book wars. It's human nature to do that, okay? You know why this happens? Because when we were young, we got a video game console from our parents or whatever, and we loved it because our parents got it for us, and because other kids at school were playing on a different console and they were probably talking smack about the console you had, and you're like, fuck you and fuck your console. That's pretty much how it was. That's how it was with me with the Nintendo GameCube. I got that Nintendo GameCube. I freaking loved the hell out of it. I was playing it. I was like, this is amazing. This is like the coolest thing ever. This thing is so freaking high tech. Like going from the N64 to the Nintendo GameCube, boy, I remember just how revolutionary that felt to me. With the graphics being, I remember the graphics too. At the time, I thought the graphics looked like they were photorealistic. That's how good they looked to me. I remember playing Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, WrestleMania X8, Minority Report, Dead to Rights, Metroid Prime, and then Metroid Prime 2. So many cool games. Oh, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Dude, the list goes on, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And yet so many fucking morons at school are talking about PlayStation 2 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And so I was like, fuck all you losers, and fuck your stupid PlayStation 2. Like, that thing's a piece of shit. And it really was. I mean, I know you're going to say, yeah, of course you're saying that you're a Nintendo fanboy, but no, that thing really was a piece of shit. Close cousins of mine and everything, they had one, and when I tried playing certain games, I couldn't because the disc had a very tiny little scratch on it. And for some weird reason, when their disc would get the tiniest little scratch marks, it was unplayable. And damn, what a piece of trash. It was annoying. Controller was a piece of shit. The controller absolutely sucked. The PlayStation 2 controller was garbage. Like the placing of the analog sticks and whatnot, that was terrible. And yeah, it wasn't powerful like the GameCube. And I know power's not everything, but at that time, it made a huge difference. And the GameCube not only had power, it had way better games too. Had way better first-party games. So that goes to show you the GameCube is proof that video gamers, most of them are stupid and they're casual and they just care about Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, that's the whole reason I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy and why I'm a Nintendron and why I always will be. It happened in the GameCube era, and I was like, man, fuck all you guys. I can't believe you idiots think that piece of shit PlayStation 2 is better, And then I remember when the Wii came out and it was kicking PlayStation 3's ass, and I was on cloud 9 for that shit. So yeah, and it just never stopped ever since. My tribalism for Nintendo just kept growing ever since. And I remember the Wii U era, one of the worst Nintendo eras ever, the one that pissed me off the most. And sadly, the Wii U was pretty damn cool. It had some cool features with that gamepad, but there was a lot of stupid things about it. The name, for one, was stupid. I think the tablet should have just been marketed as an accessory, maybe. I don't know. I think they've done a lot of things wrong with the marketing there. They didn't seem to care whether it flopped or not. I think they allowed it to flop because they wanted people to be hungry for the real thing. I think the Wii U was a prototype to the Nintendo Switch, and they didn't want too many people to jump from the Wii to the Wii U and then be disappointed with how, or not necessarily be disappointed, but just be disappointed when the Switch got revealed. Because think about it, you're playing the Wii U, then you get the reveal of the Nintendo Switch, and it's like, okay, it just looks like another version of the Wii U. It doesn't look that much different. Maybe that's why they didn't really push hard for the Wii U. That's my belief. That's my belief. But anyways, I remember all the shit PlayStation 4 owners were saying, or PlayStation fans in general. They were talking so much shit, acting like PlayStation 4 was the best thing ever or whatever. There's that stupid ass moment where they're like, oh look, you get to share your games with the PlayStation 4, and dumbasses were praising them for that. Like, this ain't fucking revolutionary shit. You could do this with the Nintendo Wii, you could do this with GameCube, you could do this with every other video game console. But you know, they were seen as the good guys because of that stupid little marketing ad where they were taking a jab at Xbox because Xbox, you know, they made that stupid move to announce a video game console that, you know, where you can't even share games at all. Of course, they ended up walking back on that, but yeah, I just remember people overrating the PlayStation 4. Good grief, it was a fucking joke. And then their games, trash-ass games like The Last of Us, what a joke. And hey, it's funny, that game was so popular, everybody said that was one of the greatest games ever. Now those same people are crying because all they get now is over-the-shoulder, third-person, cinematic experiences, walking simulators, and everything that pretty much follows The Last of Us formula. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how, you know, that you guys praised the hell out of that game, it became super popular, and now you're complaining because you're just getting games that are just like that. And now it's gotten to the point where you're barely able to put out any games. PlayStation puts out like 1 game per year, it seems like, while Nintendo puts out 10 to 12 games per year. They're just absolutely destroying PlayStation. They're the true market leader. That's a fact, they're the true market leader. They're dominating the sales charts, not just with hardware, but with software sales in the UK, in the United States, in Japan, you know. And now we're seeing a bunch of former PlayStation fans buy Nintendo Switch 2. And they're uploading videos talking about how great their experience is with Nintendo. Like, oh, I've never played Nintendo before. This is my first time experiencing Nintendo, and wow, it's so fun. I'm playing the most popular games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm playing Mario Odyssey. I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart, all that stuff. And you know what? It's kind of funny when you think about it because just a year ago, more than a year ago, it was the complete opposite. It's like hating on Nintendo on YouTube was a cool thing to do. That was a cool thing to do. Oh yeah, Nintendo is the most greedy corporation in the world. They're so evil. that was what was going to get you a bunch of views. But now it seems like because, you know, Nintendo...
Well, they still try and do that shit. It just... you know, to limited effect now.
Is doing such a stellar job. They're selling so much hardware, they're growing in popularity, and because PlayStation basically shot themselves in the foot with the whole physical thing, the whole, you know, physical media debacle, it seems like a lot of PlayStation fans are now, in a way, like, I don't want to say they're grifting, but it kind of seems like they're grifting. I'm sure they actually genuinely are enjoying their Nintendo Switch 2, but it seems like they just decided, hey, you know what? Nintendo's doing much better right now. I'm pissed off at PlayStation. Maybe this is a good opportunity to, you know, brand myself as a former PlayStation fan who is now a Nintendo fan, a new Nintendo fan, like basically new to being in the Nintendo ecosystem, whatever. I can't even barely able to think, say the fucking words I'm trying to think of, but you get what I'm saying. It seems like that's what's going on here. So isn't it funny how the grifting a year ago was hating on Nintendo? That was a big grift. Now the big grift seems to be being a former PlayStation fan who is now playing Nintendo and is, you know, sharing their experience with everybody on YouTube about how much they enjoy Nintendo. It's pretty funny, like the big change there, the complete 180 that we saw in just 1 year. And it's cool to see that, you know. And I do think it's a bit of a grift too. I think it's genuine, but I think it's a grift. I think it's like, yeah, this is going to definitely get me views, you know. Former PlayStation fan playing the Nintendo Switch 2, playing Zelda for the first time. That's what's going on. That's what you're seeing all over the place now. And of course, this is making the diehard PlayStation fans very, very upset. But yeah, this is a thing that's been going on for ages, and it's going to keep happening. And when PlayStation eventually falls and goes under, someone else is going to buy it, give it a new name, or a different place is going to, you know, company's going to rise up, whatever, and former PlayStation fangirls who never wanted to accept Nintendo are probably just going to hop on that bandwagon. I feel like most Sega fans who are butthurt that Nintendo dominated Sega are probably the ones who just jumped on a PlayStation.
Well, yeah, Dreamcast guy being case in point of that one.
Bandwagon. I kind of had that belief, you know. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of former Sega fans are, you know, now currently PlayStation fans. I could be wrong. That's all speculation, but that's going to do it here for this video, guys. Yeah, just wanted to make that response to people out there who are overly pretentious, like, oh, it's depressing to see this. Shut up, idiot. It's been going on for so long. How are you being depressed by this? How is this depressing you, you idiot? It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Well, I love all consoles. Okay, idiot, then go enjoy all your consoles, moron. How is it that people who are tribalistic and bashing on other consoles is going to make you unable to enjoy your consoles? Like, no, it's not going to happen. You're just being pretentious, and you're getting on your moral high horse. So, you know, shut up and get off of it, all right? So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. You guys let me know what you think about this, and I'll talk to each and every single one of you later. Have a good one.
As the best CEO, Gabe Newell said, piracy only happens because companies are providing bad service. Yeah, and people only steal from Walmart because the checkouts are too slow. Yeah, right. Like, how naive do you have to be, bro? Yeah, bro. The Nike store gets looted because, you know, Nike ain't be making good enough shoes and shit. For show. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just a service issue, right? It's not give me that for free. I ain't want to pay for that. Like, come on, dude. It's like, that is such a boomer, like, you know, unwilling to acknowledge the truth type worldview. Like, come on, bruh. Yeah, people only steal because the service isn't good enough. Yeah, no. Sorry. You can go to the nicest restaurant with the best waiters, the best kitchen staff, the best food you've ever fucking tasted, and certain people will still dine and fucking dash. Or refuse to tip. So, that's a massive cope.